Sorry about that. Welcome to this week's stream. We've got our tournament. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players signed in. And our first game is actually on the way, and I missed the start of it. And we can see quite a chaotic start here from white and black. Just checking my. And really, I'm not at a loss to say what's going on in this game between Bent Joking Football and Murray 2. Who would I like most? It's hard, really hard to say at this moment. White is looking like they're going to try and get the king safe, but Black's charging at the white king's position with his pawns and knights. Maybe with no worry about their own king's safety. But then again, white is not developing towards black's king, so maybe black is totally safe. That was not the greatest move. That allows this knight to come here and not be challenged by any pawns. There, it would have been better if black had kept that. And you see the knight comes into there straight away. It's now got a nice little outpost, can't be challenged by any pawns. But black hoping to do something about that. But the problem is now black has moved this knight 1, 2, 3 times in the opening. And when you do that, you're losing tempo in the game. You're losing tempo and you're getting behind on development. And white is doubling up on this knight just in case black does decide to take it off the board. I mean, what white has got to deal with is what's he going to do about this black bishop, which is hemmed in by these black pawns here. White, what's he going to do? Well, he's going to do something about the black bishop. He's got to do black square bishop and the white square bishop, and he's got to develop a knight. He's also got to worry about where his king is. So at the moment, I like white. Let's see what happens and how this develops. Okay, so black, not maybe unintentionally, choking off the white bishop here. And white responding with the black bishop. I know they can't be listening to what I'm saying because I'm streaming with a 1.5 minute delay at the moment. So finally the black knight comes out. He's got to move some pieces because he can't ignore them forever. And white's obviously seen the potential for this knight to come to here and cause the king to have to move. And black has jumped on that knight. I'm assuming white will deal with that. And then we can't really get to there because of that bishop. So a little bit of a mistake to bring that knight here. But then again, he's opened out. Has black seen this bishop on this long diagonal? No, he hasn't. So white immediately wins an exchange here. Black might want to take the knight back, keep some semblance of material coming back. But will he? Doesn't look like he's quite so sure about that. Seems to be a no-brainer at this stage. No, he doesn't mind that he's lost a rook. So he's just pushed a pawn. So white's got a chance to get the white somewhere nice and safe, and he does so. This game is looking increasingly like white's game. Now he's got to try and find a way to break out the knight. I mean, this rook needs to come to this file. The file's opened up. There's no white pawns on it. So this rook really needs to get onto this file at some point. And he could possibly double up with the queen if he does that. This is not the world's greatest way to develop your rook. You want to really develop the rook. Get these pieces out somehow, the knight and the bishop, and bring it onto this file. Okay. And white, I could check this. White does seem to be listening to what I'm saying. Okay, no, there are quite a few moves behind on the stream. It is a bit... okay, and now white seems to solve the problem of his bishop there. Don't know why black pushed that pawn. This pawn really isn't going to do any damage here. He's very close to having his king swamped and checkmated. And this bishop can come to here, this rook can come to here. You know, you've got all sorts of things going on here that these pawns are not going to do anything about. You could forget about. I wouldn't even have bothered taking it. I'd have got on with attacking the king, personally. Black's clearly there for the taking. The only thing is, as we discovered last week, when one side gets such an advantage, will he stalemate? Or she stalemate? Will they stalemate? But mate doesn't look very far away here. Okay, he's trying to attack the queen, but queen check here. Alleviates that attack, forces the king to move. The bishop check here. You've got all sorts of things going on. This bishop's in the game, rook in the game. Knight can come into the game as well. And the king's going to try and probably, I'm going to guess the king's going to try and run for cover over here. The smart move. Definitely not here. You've got bishop here, pins the king against the queen. Well, not the skewers. So the king moves and the queen gets taken by the bishop. Oh dear. Right, does the bishop come to here? Yes. But really, he can mate next move probably. Or in a couple of moves, maybe not. Thinking what could happen if the queen goes there and the queen comes here, but the bishop blocking is great. I think just take that queen off the board. Just keeps things really simple for white. Take the queen off the board. The king, he's going for it. He's going for it. He'll take the queen off the board next move. Was white. Just keep things simple. Well, there's another check coming up with the knight if he comes to here. But he's going to escape. I don't know if white can see he can escape to here. Coming hard and fast with those checks. The knight's now vulnerable. But you've got to take the queen here. And he's going to lose his knight. But if he does lose a knight, it will bring the king out. Bishop here is looking quite nice if he does that. Which is better, bishop here or bishop here? I'm just going to take the bishop. He's just going to get greedy on material. Is there anybody in the chat? 4 viewers. Anybody think white will stalemate today? Bring the pawn up here. Queen here looking devastating. Defending the bishop, but that bishop's gone. That bishop's gone. Oh no, he hasn't because the knight's pinned. Knight's pinned, so it's okay. Yeah. That bishop white, yeah. If black spotted, he could get the rook back now. Oh, but the knight's still pinned. He didn't spot the pin. The knight was still pinned. Sorry, I missed that as well. Now the pin's been relieved. That's one way of doing it. Will he get greedy? Do you think he'll go for the 2 queens? That. Oh, wait. Gets a nice check by doing so. Really close to mating with the queen going here. Okay, but maybe checkmate next move. Queen into here will do the trick. Fortunately, black's got lots of pawns, so it's hard to get the stalemate. Black should resign, and he did. Okay, let's have a look at the next game that's moving on. Going on here. So black seems to be in the ascendancy. 2 rooks, a bishop versus a bishop and a knight, and so got a passed pawn here and a passed pawn here. So everything's looking quite rosy for black. Just needs to activate his rooks. That rook's stuck behind there, and this rook's obviously now nice and active. It can take the pawn with check, which is nice. And then you can bring the other rook into the game. In fact, he's going to be able to get that. No, I wouldn't get the pawn just yet. You can I would check here and bring the other rook in if he attacks with the rook. Or well, if he attacks the rook, you just take the knight. Quite simple. Okay. I'd have thought check there would have been a nicer move. He's just going to try and get the queen. Really is not a lot going on here. Unless white can get the rook in here somehow. You know, if he got the rook in here and get somehow maneuver the bishop to here, there's some danger. But unlikely. There's just not enough. Only when he's got to get the knight in as well. And by that time that's all happened, black would have probably queened a pawn or something. He's really going heavy for the queens. Pawn takes, bishop takes. Bring the rook across here now. Notice what I said earlier about the file. There's now a nice open file here. Bring the rook to here, and you can attack that file. Sorry about that. Didn't bring the rook across. But it's all looking quite straightforward at the moment. Queen here. Oh, no, you can't queen there. Well, you can queen there. Wins a knight. One way of doing it. Will you bring the... Probably try pawn down. He gets the pawn to here. Rook here. Gets the queen and gets that rook off the board with the rook on the with the king on the back rank. Well, the king's looking vulnerable here. Knight's got to come off really. The only move. Knight takes queen. Bishop takes knight. Black's running out of pieces. King's will come up here. Probably going to... Oh, he's just going to attack straight. Great. Okay. That was an interesting move by black. Doesn't like his bishop. Yeah, that rook's just left the bishop hanging. Okay, so a little bit more interesting. Is there life still in black? In white, I mean. Take that pawn, take that pawn. Things looking a bit interesting. White seen the tactics I mentioned earlier today. He should have really taken that pawn. This isn't a bad move. Cutting off some space for black, and he can possibly get potential checks. Although black's got very easy check. The rook can't move off here. I'm being stupid because it's checkmate. Sorry about that. I did the long way of taking the pawn. Causes the rook to move. Get some time with the checks. He's actually got another way to get a potential mate. Rook here, rook there, checkmate. If the king doesn't attack the rook. What do you think? I'm going to try and queen this pawn. Right, now just checkmate. Bang. All done and dusted. Rook to here. There we go. So who will be top game? Will it be Murray 2 versus Mafmon this time? Oh, it's these two. Murray 2 versus Near Green Knight. All standard stuff in the opening. Developing the knight nicely, and white developing knight 2 here. Gets influence in all these white squares in the middle. Both sides, developing towards the center nicely. First interesting move from black, trying to pin the knight. What will he do? He's going to take it. Not sure that was the best way to take for white. Unfortunately, white leaving that pawn hanging there. Nice move and allows the bishop to get out, attacks the knight, gains a tempo. Going to have to move that queen. Does. Might want to challenge his pawn in the center somehow. B4 maybe. B4 maybe. He didn't do that. He's just gone for a quick exchange of queens early on. Well, that was the greatest move, given the devastation that's been caused to his structure here for white. I could just castle here. Would be nice. Using the time sensibly at this moment. Knight castle defends the pawn, defends the queen. If he takes the queen, it develops the knight. And the chess computer says that's the strongest move, actually, to take the queen. And the second strongest move is the castle. I wonder if black's quickly running the position through. Probably hasn't got time. Move, obviously not. Castle would have been a much better way to defend that pawn. Why didn't it could have put the queen here and that would have stopped the king moving out. It would have trapped him there. Be attacking the queen. Okay, white's getting some play now. Doing a very good job making it hard for black now. Rook's got to come to here. And the king's is now trapped in the middle for the time being. White's going to have to try and castle it on the other side if he can. No, black's going to have to try and castle it on the other side. Not sure that was the best move for white. Pressure off. He's taken the pressure off black. Black dealing with the pawn being attacked there. Not sure what white was up to here, but he's still in a very strong position, white. I suppose he wanted to just defend the queen. Queen takes queen is probably the best move. And these pawns could pile up the middle. We break through. What do we do? He's decided he wants to keep his queen. Right, just push that as well. Make the queen move again. Like that. That pawn out. Make that queen move again. Maybe break up this with eventual moves. Okay, it's gone for the knight to attack the queen. Brings the knight central position. That's nice because it's got a lot more squares that it can attack now. Still liking the push of this pawn. Makes that rook on that file look better. Okay, because if you keep pushing this pawn, it gets taken. This rook comes into the game. And he's also got to think about where he's going to put, what's he going to do with this bishop. But maybe after that, pawn's been developed. Okay, he's gone for a reasonable square foot to go to right now. Probably a good idea for white to develop with this bishop here. So that knight on being attacked. And if it gets attacked, obviously that rook will get attacked. That is just given away the knight. Will black see it? And he hasn't just. Sorry, I'm missing the queen a bit. That's 2 weeks in a row. Missed something big. Not that bad at all. I mean, this is the best game of the 2 weeks we've seen, actually. No catastrophic mistakes. Not the best play, obviously, but nothing catastrophic so far. And we're 17, 18 moves into the game. That might not be that great. Pawn here takes, attacking the queen. Queen's pinged to the king. So he's probably going to have to do queen takes queen. Going to have to do queen takes queen. He's won that pawn nice and easily. Fine. He's a long way down. White is a long way down now. Get this rook into the game as well. Right, get greedy on the pawns then. Right, trying to get some counterplay. Not sure. He's got the file, but then again, you could just take that rook off out of the game and just now is a catastrophic mistake. Or, as we saw last week, complacency and stalemate. Finally, black brings the rook in. Hey, trying to use more of the pieces. When you're playing, try and get all your pieces into the game. Always try and get all your pieces into the game. Now there's an opportunity to pin this bishop here. If that pawn comes up there, okay, that bishop can't move because the rook gets taken by the other rook. Check. So black would be looking to push this pawn, and it's now the opportunity's there. White hasn't really dealt with it. Actually, rook takes rook, and then king takes rook, and then push the pawn would have won the bishop. But rook takes pawn is also okay. But there's a chance for white could have dealt with it by putting the rook here. White's getting themselves into a little bit of time trouble. Unfortunately, they get 5 seconds every move they make. Move. I was worried about the knight being pinned on the bishop. And there goes the rook. Game over. Right. Out of the game. So that was the last game in that round. See what comes up in the next round. So we've got Blucher 10 versus Murray 2 or Loud Shocking Phone. One of those three will be the top game. Who will it be? And it's Murray versus Blucher. Interesting, unusual opening for this type of tournament, this level of play. Black had a good think about it before playing. White obviously knows what they're doing, I'm guessing, in this. Played this several times before. All equal at the moment. Both players playing solidly. Still nothing to worry about for either player. Probably Black's going to play d6 to defend the pawn. Yep. Going to develop. All solid play, all very even at the moment. Just a little wobble from Black there, pushing that pawn. It's a long way forward to push that pawn. Although, this knight e5, I'm not sure what that was all about, really. e5, e2, sorry. Having a good think, White. Okay, now we see his plan. Quite like to see Black get the king safe and White get the king safe. This bishop's a bit stymied by this pawn. Well, this pawn is a bit lonely there. Attacking the pawn here. That knight. So does White need to attend to it? Got the queen defending, it's pretty much okay. Difficult if you just castle this side. Knight coming into here is not looking very nice. You know, if bishop takes, pawn other bishop takes, rook. No, it won't be the rook there, the rook will be here. Looking quite nasty, especially if the queen can get over here. It's looking like it could, you know, there's potential for Black to get a big attack already. Although White can create some counterplay there. Dear, I didn't get round to seeing that. That is the end of the game, really. Knight forking king and queen. And she could have played it, that move there. Oh my god, could have played it there. Played it quite a long time ago. Will White fight it out? Looks like they're going to. Going back to seeing. As soon as that queen went to there, soon as the queen went to there, there, that was should have. The knight couldn't go there because the knight was protecting it. Okay, so it was there, there. That knight move there, he could have done it. Didn't need to take. Did he need to take that? I guess no. He didn't really need to take that. He could have just gone here, gone with a check earlier, one move earlier. Okay, it is just a matter of time now. So that bishop's going to have to move. Then that pawn, and could he move to here? Keep that pawn. This bishop's not in the game. This rook's not in the game. This not in the game. Look how black's development is working. Okay, he's trying to hang on to the bishop by attacking the other bishop and defending the bishop simultaneously. That's quite a nice little move, really. Look at how black's pieces, white pieces, bishop, rook, bishop. No, this rook's not connected to this rook. This bishop's not doing anything. This bishop's, well, it's now in all sorts of trouble because none of the other pieces are in the game. Whereas white has got, he's not too worried about that knight at the moment. So black is not too worried about that. Now got two pieces on pre, which is not good. But he'll get one piece back. He'll take the bishop back and he'll lose the knight. Still got significant advantages. In fact, I'll take the bishop, the queen, because then that saves the knight. Oh, bishop takes. If you go back here, bishop takes, queen takes bishop, takes rook. Next move possibly is a possibility. He's just going for the jugular, maybe. Check coming in here. And then the king's only got here. And the knights, look at how the knight's blocking off, although it can be taken at any moment. So that now would have been the time to take it. That's a really, should have taken that knight there. Should have taken that knight there. Is the queen going to come into here? It is. Well, get the knight out of dodge and keep it in the game. If it comes in here, it's going to cause all sorts of problems for black. So then covering these squares. Okay, he's going to keep going with the checks. Okay, now go on, bring the knight in with check. He's going for the rook. Greedy taking material. Or is he being better than me? Oh, nicely done, black. Sorry, I'm quite up with that. Your plan. Let's look a little bit further down the rankings. How's this one going? Looks like it's at the moment black's going to lose. Well, this could be interesting. Knight here, check. Rook on check. Knight takes rook. Evens, and then suddenly white's in the game. Will black do something about that fact, potential? Oh no, he hasn't. So white can get back in the game. Knight moves to here. Oh, he went the wrong way. Got the check, but didn't get the rook possibility of taking with the knight. Unlucky. Bring the knight here. Bet. Yeah. But it doesn't force loss of a rook for a knight. Okay, doubling of a rooks could be a good idea. Well, this knight's very active. There is potential for this knight to, you know, if black's not careful. Oh my! Oh, he's got the pin. What he's doing with that rook there? Suppose losing pawns now. That rook there, I can't see it. Clever, the fact that pawn can't take it because it's pinned here. Oh dear. Game over for black, I think. Not definitely, given the mistakes are likely to be made. And the time pressure that black's under as well. Won't get United safe. What about that pawn? The pawn's going to come off the board for white. Okay, doesn't care about his knight. Give him the piece back. Is black... Come on, black, you haven't got much time. Take the knight. Pawn takes. Was it going to get queened? I suppose. There is that worry. Take the pawn. Probably. Open is tricky to know. The rook's probably, yeah, it's probably the it would have got queen. I think black played the best move there. No, I'm not too sure about that. I really think he should have taken that knight then. If pawn takes, he gets to take. Why didn't he take the knight? Well, he gets to fork these two. King here, fork knight and rook. Will he see it? No, he moves the king away. Who vast meek danger is, or loud shocking phone either, for that matter. Go on white, push your pawns up, queen one of them, game over. Oh, he's going to go for the. They're going to go for the checkmate with knight and rook. Or hopefully maybe forking. Push, push. And he's giving him a chance to fork again. Will the king come here? No, the king doesn't come here. Come on, white, give them another chance. Right, take it, finally. This is interesting. Black's king is better positioned on these pawns. Oh, why not bring pawn up? Never mind. This is looking like a draw now to me. Okay, bring the king in here. King in here. It's got to come in here. You're just giving the rook away. Okay, so the draw has not happened. It might still happen. Okay. Easy. Take the rook. Take the. Okay, queen. Watch white stalemate. What do you reckon? 50-50? We have quite a lot of them. I'll just move your king into. Push this pawn a bit. Get white worried about that. Push that pawn. You want that pawn in a position where it can't move, so therefore the stalemate can happen. Or bring the king across the rook, but we've got to get that pawn. You're going to try and get that pawn to h1 if you want a potential stalemate. Or loss on time could be another alternative for black. Well, it looks like black's just making white wait for this game. Okay, coming to the middle. I'll push the pawn. Push the pawn. Push the pawn. It looks like no, white's sensible. He's going to go there, go there. Good. White knows what they're doing about this checkmate. Game over. My word, this game's still going on. There we go. A game for white to resign, probably, especially with their time. Oh, white to resign, sorry. Black. White's in time trouble, so he not. Yep. Okay. That's refreshed. Okay. Just tap the. Go for the stalemate. Oh no, you can't tap the pawns. This one could take some time. White's got to be careful of repeating the position and forcing a draw that way. Fortunately, he's moved the knight to a different square. Take pawn. Why don't you just push these pawns? Push the pawns on two. If you're struggling here, push the pawns on both sides. Okay, oh, that's given up. Right. Well, still one more game going. With some total of 30 seconds, but with the 5 seconds per move, it can keep going. What's happening here is balance, isn't it? Looks like white's to win. Okay, you've got queen advantage over rook and plus 3 passed pawns. Is white win, and that should just take the knight, just take it off. Make your game simpler. Knight take off bishop. Okay. Definitely win the bishop. Win the bishop as well. Take the rook. Okay. Give them your rook. And then bring your rook back and keep the pin on this knight. Right, rook across, pin on the knight, and then this game gets interesting. But black's going to run out of time, I think. 8 seconds. Basically 5 seconds to move now. Ooh. Shame that they couldn't. The rooks won't be able to connect on that queen pinning against the king. Rook together. In the idea of rooks versus queens, deciding which is sometimes you get a choice as to which to have. The queen is better when you got the rooks not connected for certain, and if the rooks are connected and working well together, then they can be more powerful than the queen. Obviously, the knight and the 3 pawns give the advantage to white. But if you're ever thinking about what to do, you've got to try and if your rooks can't connect, then it's not worth swapping, having the 2 rooks over the queen. The queen can move around more easily. Right. So we're in positions. So we've got Blucher 10, 3 out of 3, large shocking foam, 3 out of 10. So there's the big game. This is the win. This is to decide who's going to win. And cautious start from both players. White thinking about their second move. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's a bag. Interesting by bag. Best move is actually to take the pawn if you're white in that position. But you've got to know the theory. Which actually I don't know. That Roy Lopez opening Morphe defense, Tarish variation. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Okay. Opening up the game. That's got their queen out nice and early. I'll probably boss this queen about and get the bishop to the long diagonal. Okay, he's gone for safety. I'd have got the bishop on the long diagonal, get a tempo move the queen, create pressure on this weak pawn here. You got bishop here. You could have then queen move. You could probably get the knight to there. This is going to be interesting. What? That's move the bishop there. This queen's take that. Double the pawns in the middle. Okay, I wouldn't have done. I at least get the rook onto the open file and create a tempo that way. Is what I would have done. Not necessarily the right thing to do. My computer engine's gone to sleep, so I'm just leaving it. No, oops, lost the game. Get it back. Sorry about that. There we go. Sorry, game's back again. Where have we got to? Any big mistakes? No, it's still equal material. Not a fan of that pawn move there, weakening this pawn structure here. Okay. White bishop's way over here, and he's now just got rid of the white bishop. So the thing that could have shored up this defense has gone off the board. So moving this pawn up is not a great thing to do. That knight's precarious. Okay, it's stuck on the edge. It's only influencing this square, this square, this square, this square. You know, pushing this pawn will give it something to think about, especially if black can get pressure on this square. One saving grace for white is that black doesn't have his white squared, their white squared bishop. And do you reckon he's going to try and get that? They're going to try and get that bishop there and attack the pawn in the middle, putting pressure on the queen, maybe. What do you think? I think, and delay on this. Yeah, cool. Just checking. I hadn't heard what I was saying earlier. Always a worry when you're commentating on these games. This knight hasn't even got to the edge in stream when I'm commentating. Interesting. So white doesn't like that queen's there. I suppose it's only defense. I suppose he could have brought, but he could have brought the knight here. Didn't have to get the queens off the board. Interesting. So he's going to give up knight and the bishop for a rook, and then the pawn's gonna create pressure here. This is an interesting imbalanced game. I'm not sure I'd have done that if I was white. Maybe there was no choice. Somebody's been listening to the commentaries earlier. The only thing is, see, look how this pawn. I suppose he's trying to get that rook there to try and get rid of this pawn, but it's tricky because as you know, the black bishop's got control of this. That's a nice little move. So rook takes that pawn, puts pressure on this bishop, gets the other rook out into the game. This is a nice little move by white. And if you can keep these rooks connected, that could be quite strong. You must, whatever white, I think must try and avoid is swapping off one of the rooks. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Boss this bishop a bit more. So the bishop can't go there. It can go to here or here. Can't really go there. Can go there. Knight defending it nicely. You wonder if that rook's going to come across and create some potential tactics with a king on a black square. Connecting up the rooks. Bishop's still fine. Okay, rook on an open file. Okay, going for getting the rook swapped off. What he's trying to do, but unfortunately left the pawn all alone. Now you got that rook on the 7th rank. Remember what I said about the 7th rank earlier, and this one can join it. So if this knight is stuck here, okay, because obviously this rook could come down to join it. That in rook takes bishop, knight takes that. That's even more interesting. That's not stuck there. I thought the opportunity to take, where was it? Here, to take the bishop, knight, rook. Oh no, there it was when the king moved away to take the bishop off the rook. It was bishop and the knight off of the rook. Quite good. Good plan of white to get more pressure, and you actually easily get this up 2 squares without any trouble at all. I think let him have that pawn, because then his rook will be so far over that this pawn will queen. My knight can't get anywhere. The bishop can't move because it's pinned. Pawn there. And it's 2 moves from queening. What can you do about that in 2 moves? You could almost sacrifice this rook, to get a queen. If you try to put knight there, then no, you can't do anything with knight there because rook just takes it because that bishop's pinned. That was not the world's greatest move by white to defend that. Push this pawn, get the rook out of the way and queen it. Would have been far stronger. Even if you brought the knight out, you could have just taken that without any trouble at all. And if you brought the knight here, give the rook up for it, change it back again. And it's got nicely out of this sticky position. That was a little bit tricky back there. Idea of, if he takes, the other rook would take him. I think he'll just take that, defend his pawn. No. Why not take that, defend this pawn, and get rid of the trouble at the same time? Come on, get your queen, knight. Get it. White. Knight, white. Get your queen. Just get on with it. Do it. Whoopsie. Now the rook can get back into the game. Okay, the rook's a bit displaced. Now it's time to push. Good. Because the rook's got 2 moves to get back in. Nothing much you can do about it. I think this is now white's game. In fact, while the knight was there, I quite liked check, knight takes, check, king takes, queen, queen versus rook, and a load of pawns. Oh, he's gone for that anyway. Oh, this is nice. Giving up that. The king can't take it. Queen. Nice move by white. Well done there. Game over now, really. White's tournament. Blue 10. Find out who that is. The played knight. Rook off. So he's got to be careful of stalemate. But There's a knight there. Interesting. Take the rook. I suppose. Rook. Imperial. Alright, now it's taken. Okay. Get rid of this pawn. Queen your pawn. Keep pushing. Keep the king over there. As soon as the rook comes off here again. Yeah. Okay, pawn up. It's good. Not so good, sorry. No, good. King up was better. I was totally wrong there. Take the pawn there. Why not take it? You're worried the rook would come here pinning, but you'd just take the rook if you did that. Yeah, because actually queen takes there, rook would have binned it. If we go back, if he'd taken with the queen, he'd have lost the rook would have lost the queen for the rook, and then it'd been a race between the two pawns. Who gets the other end first? The queen. Right? You're not under time pressure. You've got 3 minutes. White's got 2 minutes. It would have been really hard for White to win that. Looks like blue K10 is going to finish top. There are 5 rounds. We get to okay, a Rosy Brush Pom Pom and Bent Joking Football fighting out. We don't no, will be. This is the last game in this round. Who's going to win it? Is resigned. Right. So it looks like who can Meek Secret Year is going to try and take out the undefeated Blue K10. Let's see what happens here. Last game, Blue K10's tournament to lose, 1 point ahead. All they need is a draw. They could offer a draw right now and win the tournament. Meek Secret Year would probably, if they wanted just to worry about winning the tournament, Meek Secret Year probably would take the draw. I don't know. Bear in mind, Blue K10 hasn't lost any. What do you think? Last game, last round, last game. Never seen the words of Van Croyd's opening before. I've seen the opening, but I've never seen the words that came with it. Okay, going for the quick win. He doesn't respect this opponent. Wait a minute, black. Wait. Seriously? Oh dear. Meek Secret Cheer has tried to go for the Scholar's Mate against the person that's undefeated in the tournament. Nice one. Not a lot of respect being shown here. So what are you going to do? Knight's hoping to come into here, I bet. With potential to take on here. Yeah, here we go. I thought black would have seen that. Maybe it's not over. Oh, he defended that knight. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Now, this is interesting. This bishop now is doing nothing. This queen's now going to get bullied. This knight is on pre. Generally, trying to scholar somebody who's reasonable is not a good move. This idea of trying to mate on this square against a good player is likely to get you into trouble. Here we go. So either the queen comes off or the knight comes off. Which is it? Well, not definite. Yeah. Which is it going to be? Because when the pawn takes, even if the queen stays here, he can't take the rook because the queen's defending that rook. I might want to try and you know, if he goes here, queen takes knight, the knight's coming off. You see all of this. Queen comes here, pawn takes, and rook's pinning on that, and he can't take that. He's going for maybe trying to get a pawn back. You take the queen. Get the pawn back, really. Takes the queen, just develops the knight for black. Okay, out comes knight. And then it's just going to be a question of getting probably the white square bishop out first, knight out second to here, and then castle. And then you've got a king on this side and king on this side, and basically the first person to attack generally wins. And black's got a ready-made attack. You know, he's got pawns already piling up, the rook's already piling in, the knight won't take long. He's really putting the pressure on with this bishop. In fact, it doesn't even look like black's going to worry about his king, actually. Because the queen's off the board, there isn't the same importance to castle the king. Okay, and I think black can just get stuck in here, weaken the position. There's not a lot white can do about that. You can probably trap that bishop in by putting that there, but then again, the king can't take it because the rook's there. And if he wants to, oh, that was not a clever move. That just gives black a free check and license to put the bishop anywhere he wants and attack anything he wants. So as soon as the black bishop moves, there's a check. So that black's bishop can go anywhere. You know, it has a free square. In fact, it's just keeping the pressure on. Bringing more and more pieces. Quite like to see the knight come up here and the king move, and then you can bring the two rooks down on this file. Looking deadly now. I'm not sure what's going to last long. That bishop's coming to here. Check, mate. There's checkmate. Only move. Even there. Only move rook there. That's checkmate now. There you go. Game and tournament over. Blucher 10 is the winner. There's not much else happening. We go and see. Looks like these two just left the tournament. They were both on 0 last game, still on 0, so the only way that can happen is if both leave the tournament. Have a look at what's happening here. Whereas Loud Shocking Firm versus Murray 2, the second place playoff. Second place playoff here. I think, go back and check. Yeah, second place playoff. So whoever wins this will get second place. Black trying to pile on the pressure on this diagonal here. White spending a lot of time defending it. I like book here, queen here. How about it puts the queen straight here now?